What a year it has been. 2020, two 20s in a row. A year where we can joke about how people who wear glasses can finally see. I feel like when we were all making our New Year's resolutions, we were like, you know what? This will be our year. I'm gonna travel more, hang out with my friends, visit Australia. But then the year began. So let me briefly break down and dissect this year with a few events. So January 1st was probably the last good day in January, because a day later, January 2nd, Australia was literally burning, along with its wildlife. January 7th, the World Health Organization was notified about coronavirus in China. And a day later, 3 separate events happened. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle exited their royal duties as senior royals in Buckingham Palace. Iran launched missiles at 2 military bases in Iraq, injuring American soldiers, and a Ukrainian flight crashed in Tehran, Iran, killing all 176 passengers on board. January 20th, the first coronavirus case in the U.S. was reported in Washington state. January 26th, the legendary Kobe and Gigi Bryant, along with 7 other passengers, died in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. January 31st, United Kingdom withdrew from the European Union. February 5th, Trump was acquitted by the Senate on both articles of impeachment. February 24th, American film producer Harvey Weinstein was found guilty of third-degree rape and first-degree criminal sexual assault. March 11th, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a pandemic. March 13th, Trump declared a national emergency amid the coronavirus pandemic. March 24th, the 2020 Summer Olympics were supposed to take place in Tokyo, but were now postponed until 2021. April 2nd, global coronavirus cases surpassed 1 million. And on April 9th, the 100th day of 2020, New York State alone had more coronavirus cases than any country in the world. Wow. Should I keep going? Because I've only talked about 4 months, and last I checked, there were 12. I mean, right now we're only halfway through the year and all of this has happened. Not to mention the murder hornets and the fact that Ebola might possibly be back. This pandemic was really the focus of the year, but recently there's been an event that is so empowering that even coronavirus has taken a seat back from the spotlight. This new topic has a lot of history. How long is this history, you might ask? 401 years. This involves 246 years of slavery, 99 years of Jim Crow, 56 years of police brutality and mass incarceration. And this comes from, Black and / African Americans making up 13% of the population in America, but accounting for more than 50% of all the crimes. So, if anyone was oppressed for that long, of course they would be angry. All of the years of pain and suffering explains why Black people are mad. Like Kimberly Jones said, they're lucky that what Black people are fighting for is equality, not revenge. Because no one should go through something like that because of the color of their skin. And I know there are people who literally say to Black people, and this quote comes directly from a student that goes to school with me, you guys act like you were slaves. Stop acting like victims, like you were there. I'm sorry, I didn't think the oppressor was the one who regulated when and when not the oppressed could get over their pain and suffering. That is like telling a rape victim to get over what happened to them and move on. Come on, so simple. But it's crazy to think, Imagine your great-great-grandparents, great-grandparents, grandparents, parents fighting for justice, not being able to follow their dreams or enjoy life to the fullest, because they're fighting so that you don't have to witness inequality. You'll be able to do whatever you want in life, but despite all their efforts, despite how many times this world says we teach our young not to repeat history, somehow history repeats itself. On May 25th, George Floyd died in Minneapolis police custody after video showed former officer Chauvin kneeling on his neck after Floyd repeatedly stated, "I can't breathe." The same last words said by Eric Gardner in 2014. And this is not an opinion of what happened, this is a fact. This event inspired worldwide protests in 50 states and all over the world, basically. This has caused Anonymous, the decentralized international hacktivist, to appear. This has caused the Amish to make signs for George Floyd, and even the Bloods and Crips, two gangs that hate each other, to come together to support the Black community. I even think there was word that the witches were protesting, and there might be some people in Africa doing some dark magic, but anyway, coronavirus already got us non-essential workers sitting at home bored, so if you support this issue and your mama let you go outside and protest, you're going to protest. Sadly, this incident is not new to the United States. Police and the Black community have been butting heads for a long time. From slavery to discrimination to segregation to regentrification to police brutality. Really just different forms of racism and suppression. And we've gone from hashtag Black Lives Matter to hashtag All Lives Matter to hashtag Blue Lives Matter, hashtag All Cops Are Bastards, hashtag Not All Cops Are Bad, hashtag Don't Be a Karen. Each hashtag is used to rebuttal the retittle of the retittle. And my question is just, why are we debating racism? Right now, the Black/African American community is being deeply affected. We understand all lives matter, but here is an analogy that will help everyone realize why Black lives should be the focus point right now in America. If my house is burning and your house is not burning, why in the world would I call the fire department to go to your house? You're not being affected by what's going on, so you will not get the help at this very moment. I will, because I'm the one being affected, but because you're my neighbor, you should support me and make sure I'm okay. This analogy was understood by elementary school children, and maybe this watered-down version will help everyone realize that all lives matter when Black lives matter. People see this movement as more anti-police than pro-Black lives. And listen, there are amazing cops out there, but right now, the bad cops are killing Black people without any consequences simply because of the color of their skin. And that's why these events keep happening. Until the good cops can condemn this bad behavior instead of standing up with the bad cops and tear gassing protesters, then the whole police system will be frowned upon. When a teacher abuses their power and the students retaliate, we don't blame the students. The teachers don't blame the students. The principal does not blame the students. Even the parents don't blame the students. They all work together to remove that toxic teacher from the environment so that the school does not look bad. This same lesson should be found in police guidelines because their job actually has the power to take someone's life away. African Americans are scared because police officers are supposed to protect them, but looking on the news, every single day a Black person is killed for various reasons. At a young age, my mom told me exactly what to do if I ever encountered a police officer. To this day, I am repeatedly told what to do. This is because I am already treated differently because I am Black. And when I watch a video of a Black man literally complying without the possession of any weapons, repeatedly saying sorry to the police officer but still getting shot when they tell him to stand up, it makes me think that there is nothing I can do right if I encounter a police officer that thinks every Black person should be handled with force. This makes me scared to go for runs, sit outside on my porch, and just do basic activities that my white counterparts do willingly. Because if something happens to me, I don't have the full confidence to say that the police will protect me 100%. There are so many things I want to accomplish in my life, and I want to make sure that I'm not put at a disadvantage because of the color of my skin. And it's amazing we can live in a world where I feel like this, but most of my friends can live life on the edge, have fun, and go to the beach or lake to escape reality when reality has become my shadow. I want to feel comfortable. I want to feel safe in my own skin, and I want to have equality in every opportunity I'm given without the constraint of gender and skin color. Trayvon Martin was around the same age as me. I'm 16 years old and he was 17 years old at the time. He was just returning from a convenience store after purchasing items with his own money. Zimmerman, a neighborhood watch volunteer, shot him because he looked suspicious. He was 17 years old. Breonna Taylor, a 26-year-old woman, sleeping in her house, shot by LMPD officers. They came with a warrant because they suspected she and her boyfriend were receiving drugs. However, no drugs were found in her apartment, only the dead body of Breonna and her boyfriend in handcuffs after trying to keep his girlfriend safe after being woken up by men in their apartment. He was arrested and was going to receive jail time while the police officers were going to live their lives and keep their jobs. And even in the incident report for Breonna Taylor, which was almost completely blank, for injuries they said none, even though she was shot 8 times. And the list just goes on with the same tragic storyline. Sandra Bland, no conviction for the police officers. Katherine Johnston, no conviction. Sean Bell, no conviction. Eric Gardner, no conviction. Freddie Gray, no conviction. And when a conviction does come, it's only after too long of a period. It takes protesting and petition signing for their bad actions to be disciplined. People just want change. So we protested. United States First Amendment, a right that guarantees freedom concerning religion, expression, assembly, and the right to petition. Unless you're Black. Because when there was peaceful protest, we hoped the good cops would join us and not stand with an unfair justice system. But instead, we got tear gassed and pushed, and now there's violent protesting and looting and rioting. And don't get me wrong, I don't support violent protests. But I do understand why there is currently violent protesting going on right now. People are upset with what continues to happen to a specific group of people. I mean, there is never a problem when people violently protest elections or loot and burn things when their favorite sports teams win or lose. When the country was fighting for its independence, or even when we bombed Afghanistan after 9/11. But now people find it wrong that others are violently protesting the death of a Black man who had a grown man continue to put his whole weight on his neck after he lost his pulse. Now everyone wants to say violence is not the answer. It's a fact that Black people are being targeted by some bad police officers who don't want to protect them. And I truly feel bad for the good police officers. This has been going on for the longest time, and peaceful protesting has done nothing. The protesters are trying to do something drastic so that something drastic can happen in police reform. People keep saying Black people are the ones destroying their own community, but it's been proven that KKK members, neo-Nazis, and white supremacists have gone into these protests wearing all Black, breaking things, and making the Black community look like, well, what the president referred to as thugs. Some people are there for destruction, and the true protesters, the peaceful protesters, are trying to stop them. So again, I don't support violent protest, but like Malcolm X said, nonviolence is fine as long as it works. However, nothing has been done to change the fact that Black people are being killed without any consequences for the police officers. Sadly, the only thing that matters in the United States is money, the Second Amendment, and white privilege, which is only a thing because minorities are kicked down and oppressed by a system that is dominated by white people. And with those 3 values, that's why this country has so many homeless people, more school shootings than any other nation, and why a white and racist police officer can initially not even be arrested after wrongly killing a Black man who allegedly paid with a fake $20 bill. So I guess innocent until proven guilty only pertains to certain people. I feel like everyone who has something negative to say about these protests have quickly forgotten why all of this protesting started. People are putting peaceful protesters in a category associated with looting and rioting, but they refuse to put good police officers in a category with police brutality. And in this case, you cannot have it one way or the other. Whether you watch Fox News, CNN, or MSNBC, they won't show the police officers that stand with the supporters. They won't show the African Americans stopping others from destroying buildings. They won't show the community coming together to clean up. But however, they did show the president's response to this protesting. And the president's response to the protesting was, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. a phrase glorifying violence towards African Americans dating back to the race riots during the 1960s. That was our source that was supposed to bring us together. Again, I say, at a time like this, we just all need to come together, because silence is not the answer. So to the African Americans, I know you've been struggling for 401 years, but let this be the time we say no more. To other minorities, don't forget that the African American community is what helped branch the way for you guys to live a better life in America. For the LGBTQ community, African Americans were one of the first advocates for your cause. And to white people, we need your support in this too. If you're older than me, you definitely know right from wrong, and you should be using your privilege in America to make a difference. If you're my age, stop worrying about losing followers on Instagram or TikTok. I know people might not think posting what's happening will do anything, but it makes the African Americans that you're friends with feel like you have their back. It makes it feel like you're with us. And there's no way you can enjoy Black culture, listen to Black music, have Black friends and coworkers, and not say anything about what's going on. Any human being with a heart should be upset with what's going on, and they should make their support known to everyone, not in secret. So continue to sign petitions, discuss the topic, vote for change, check on your friends of color, and most importantly, educate yourself. Please educate yourself, because you're going to sound really stupid when someone combats your statement with cold, hard facts. Like, don't get in a debate with someone if you don't educate yourself. 2020 will be a year to remember. And the response to George Floyd's death will be one for the history books right next to COVID-19. But the question is, will his name be the name that stopped oppression, or the name that joined a long list of victims? So I'll leave you with a quote by Malcolm X, because everyone is really enjoying the Martin Luther King quotes right now. But here's the quote. Truth is on the side of the oppressed. I hope everyone has a great day.